Yo! So I have another video for you guys. And this time, it's about the BBC. Or the woke BBC. Because I've been watching the BBC. I've been forced to watch it. Oh, not really forced, but we're forced to pay for the BBC for years now. It's a dying institutional system where they force you in the United Kingdom to pay for a TV license. I know, it sounds weird, right? You own a TV, you don't watch their channel, and you may go to prison or be sentenced or fined if you don't pay for owning a TV. Even if you just own the TV to play computer games or browse the internet or use it just as a monitor, you have a TV there, assume you're watching the BBC. That's how things are in the United Kingdom. But the BBC as a whole, I can't really see it lasting no more than 10 years in its current state because we are like there's like different generations. There's like Gen Z, Gen Alpha, and each generation they consume content differently. And we're in a level where a lot of people now have YouTube on their TVs. And guess what? I don't really watch natural normal TV anymore. I watch YouTube, I watch Netflix, I watch a bit of Amazon Prime, and that's me done. That's my entertainment. But the BBC assumes that everybody wants to watch the BBC. Back in the 90s, the BBC was quality entertainment. Now we started to see what was underneath the grime of the BBC, what they were hiding. People like Jimmy Savile. Hiding him because they were known. There were people that were shouting out from the rooftops, this guy's a pedo. And what they went and do? They kept it quiet. They never said anything because he was doing so much good charity work. They had Rolf Harris there. Russell Brand was there. We all know what Russell Brand did. He didn't really do anything, but he was a nuisance there, and they covered him up as well. And then we have Hugh Edwards, the very guy who was giving us the news, was the news himself, which was hilarious. And now we have this, where we start to see BBC's bias reporting. There was once a time when I was in Jamaica, and I was surprised that they had BBC there, but BBC, the news is like, at the time, it was like, how can I put it? It was the best news. You know, it was the best news you can get. It was trusted. Because a lot of channels have fallen to the wayside when it comes to news. I remember ITV tried to launch a news channel years ago. That never worked out. They scrapped that idea. And then so the BBC just kept on going. It just kept on going. But I guess the reason why it could keep on going because it's funded by the taxpayer. I don't really believe that the BBC News is the best news anymore. But look at this. This is a panorama expose of Trump. This is what they said Trump said. So they're manipulating what we're seeing.
Down to the Capitol, and I'll be there with you. And we fight. We fight like hell. We're going to walk down to the Capitol, and we're going to cheer on our brave senators and congressmen and women.
Okay, so the BBC has been exposed for airing a doctored speech by Donald Trump leading up to Capitol riots in 2021. Ooh, BBC, what are you up to? Why would you do this? Why would you do this? Someone had like you have to think about how many hands these things must go through, and nobody thought, "Hey, wait, that's not what he said." But nobody really cares at the BBC. They believe they can do what they want because they're funded by the taxpayer. No one's actually holding them accountable for their actions. Because hey, guess what? When the BBC messes up, they investigate themselves. They're literally marking their own homework. It's hilarious. And I can't wait for the BBC to end. And sometimes people think that it's like a great British institution, the BBC. But it comes to a point where it's just looking like an old man trying to survive in a young man's world. That's what the BBC looks like. It's that bad that, you know, it's trying. They had something like BBC Three that was for the young people. Then they scrapped it, only for them to realize, oh, why did we scrap it? So we were trying to save money. Save money. The amount of money they paid the executives at the top level, they could have not paid them so much and kept the channel going. Then they bring back the channel. By the time they bring back the channel, it's dead. It's lost its motion. BBC Three used to have young. It was geared towards young people, and it was something where if they kept it, it could have been a really good channel, and it could have been like on the level of what's going on YouTube now. They just didn't think through the future. They brought it back when it was too late. It was too late to bring it back. It lost Family Guy, American Dad. I mean, those were the main reasons why people were watching BBC Three at the time. But it did have very, very good shows. I think like Little Britain was on there. And what they did, they would slide these shows in between Family Guy episodes. So you watch the Family Guy episodes, then they bring in a new show. And instead they know that people, it's a carrying show. So it's a show that will carry another episode of the Family Guy. So people just would watch something just to get to another episode of Family Guy. And sometimes something like, I think it was The Mighty Bush, that show kind of like got an audience through doing that. And it was a smart way of giving people new shows that were good, but otherwise wouldn't have gotten seen. Fresh eyeballs. And, you know, they kind of messed it up now because like Family Guy and American Dad, that's gone to ITV now in the UK. So nobody really cares about BBC Three anymore. They just don't know what they're doing at the top level. It's unbelievable. Anyway, I'm out. On to the next video. Like and subscribe.